Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and with iOS 27, Apple added many new features and changes, and some of those have to do with notes and reminders. So I thought we'd go over every new feature within notes and reminders specifically. Let's start off with notes. You'll see that we have a document here. This is just a sample I created, and if we want to add a new divider line, we have that option now. Press and hold wherever you'd like the divider. Actually, I'd like it right below that. Again, press and hold. You've got your little menu that pops up. Tap the right arrow. Under the right arrow, you now have the option to insert divider line. Tap on it and it simply inserts it. We could add another if we'd like. You can add as many as you'd like, or you can get rid of them altogether. Just tap back, it highlights, tap again, and it deletes. So if you want to separate your document that way, you can do that. Another thing you can do is link directly to different subsections of the document. You'll see here where this one says Apple Intelligence, for example. So let's tap on this. We'll tap the check just to get rid of it. You'll see we have Apple Intelligence, Core App Updates, Productivity, and System. Well, up here in the introduction, it says iOS 26 introduces a significant update focused on a new liquid glass design. Maybe we want liquid glass to link to a section that talks more about that. Highlight whatever you'd like to link. Tap on Add Link. You can also tap this right arrow to add link as well. Under Add Link, you'll now see a new link dialog. So it says link to, enter a URL or note, link to a section. If you've created sections like I have, Liquid Glass is under Productivity and System. Now it will link automatically. You can also use the section title, and then you'll see it says Liquid Glass. So now this is a link. You'll see here, so if we tap the check mark, you'll see it says Liquid Glass, tap on it, and it will jump right down to where it is in the document. You can also press and hold on it to see a preview of where it actually is going to bring you. Of course, this isn't a huge document, so you won't see that. You can also edit the link or remove it here as well. So if you want to remove the link, just tap on it, it removes the link, and you're back to where you were before. But you can do that all throughout the document. Maybe you have a multi-page, 30-page document, and you want to link to certain subsections. You can simply do that. So you'll see here, again, Apple Intelligence. If we want to link to that section of the document, add a link. Then again, subsection, Apple Intelligence, and now it's linked. And again, you can do that all throughout the document if you'd like, however you'd like, throughout the entire thing, whichever works best for you. Another new feature has to do with Markdown. Markdown has been supported for a while, but now you can copy and paste Markdown without it changing the formatting. So let me go ahead and create a new document here. We'll go to a website that has some sample Markdown, and let's just go ahead and highlight some of this and see what we've got. So we'll highlight maybe this part. We'll scroll down here. That should be enough. We'll highlight it. We'll copy it. And this shows what it should look like on the right. Let's go back and paste it. And it should then actually format it exactly how it was. So you can use full Markdown, copy and paste, and the same is true going the other direction. So maybe we want to select all of this. So now that we have everything highlighted, if we want to export this as Markdown, tap the share button here, and you'll see it has export as Markdown. So you can now do that. That's right within your options. And now you can export it as Markdown wherever you'd like, and then share it with someone else in that specific format. So that's something that works now that didn't work before without having to change the formatting around. Back within the document we were in before, if I tap somewhere, you'll see that we have our keyboard. We'll bring that up. If we switch to a different area, we have our suggestions. And to the left of that, we have a new Siri icon. This allows us to text to Siri, just brings it up, ask Siri about anything. Or if we just create a new document here, we can write with Siri. So that's basically a way we can write with Siri, create something entirely new. So let's give that a try if you have access to Siri. So let's activate Siri. Create a note that has to do with iOS 27 and its new features, focusing on the liquid glass slider, and also make different sections about each thing, such as Apple Intelligence, new features throughout, and more. So it's thinking. It's going to create this document here. Give it just a moment.
I've created a new titled iOS 27 New Features with sections covering the liquid glass slider, Apple Intelligence, and performance.
So you'll see it created this entire document here now with iOS 27 features. Now it's not covering everything, but it's highlighted different sections as well. So you can just talk to Siri that way and have it create that for you. You could also modify this. Modify the document we just created and add additional features that are hard to find. So again, you can just talk in natural language. We'll give it just a moment here. So it updated the document and added additional hidden features. So also within this document, we could create a quick bulleted list at the end that references different features. So let's try that. In the document we just created, could you create a bulleted list of all of the new features at the end of the document to make it easier to see them all together? We'll give it just a moment here. And you'll see here at the end, it created that list. It says new features summary, and there's all the different things that it's talking about. Now, of course, there's more features than that, but this is just a basic rundown about that. Now, again, within this document, if maybe we tap right here, maybe we want to insert an image. We have the option for Image Playground, but the interface has been updated. We had this before, but it's much better, and we can describe a change here. So create an image of iOS 27 that goes along with the different things listed within this document. We'll go ahead and tap create. We'll see what it does here, and it will create this on its own. And then you have different styles: sketch, any style, animation, or illustration. So this gives you an idea. Even though it's not exact, you can utilize that if you'd like. And now we have that document. It says new iPOS 27. So that's something it created on its own. And of course you can modify that however you'd like, resize it, replace it throughout the image or throughout the document, wherever you'd like, and then of course get rid of it if you'd like to do that as well. Now I've shared the document with myself on a different device using iOS 27, and you'll see that there's an indicator here with a little arrow based on where I'm actually looking at it. If I maybe highlight somewhere else, it pops up, goes somewhere else, and also gives an indicator of who's looking at it. So as I move the arrow around on the left screen here, it's changing on the right. And then of course I can modify this. I'll just type the word hi before liquid glass, and then we'll get rid of it, and you'll see it edits in real time. So we've had sharing for a while, but the indicator has been updated. One other thing I wanted to try using Write with Siri, or we'll just talk in natural language, is maybe to see if it could gather some additional information and see how accurate it is. Create a document in Notes talking about the M5 Touring from BMW and how it compares with the M3 and regular M5 as well. Let's see if it can actually get that information, if it understands that, or if not. So let's see what it does here. It's thinking. And there it got all the information. We can edit with Siri. Tap on the little eye here. It gives all of the different places where it got the information from BMW blog, car and driver, and a couple others here. So lots of different sources, and you'll see it breaks it down here with the BMW M5 Touring versus the M3. Talks about the engine, the horsepower, and much more. Now, how accurate it is, I'm not sure, but it did get the horsepower numbers right and got most of this information correct. So again, you can create quick documents with it just using natural language, and then it will give you those sources if you need to know those. Now, back on the home screen, there's one additional thing to go along with Notes, and that has to do with widgets. If we press and hold here, go to add a widget. Within our notes, if we scroll over, you'll see we now have a full screen notes widget. If we add the widget, you can see all of the different notes here. So we'll just add that, tap on this one, and it brings us right into the note here. It's completely interactive, and then of course opens to the note that we want to see. Now switching over to reminders, we have the same sort of thing. So we also have a large widget for reminders that's fully interactive. And you'll see now we have a large reminder widget. So this is something that you can add if you'd like to directly with reminders. Another thing that goes along with Notes and reminders is if we go into Messages, directly within Messages, if someone messages you about something that has to do with a time frame or a location, it then can auto-suggest here to add to reminders or add to notes. So for example, I said you need to record a video about notes and reminders tomorrow. I can then just tap add to reminders and then create a reminder. Also, when you're creating a reminder, there's additional fields here. So for example, we have date and time. We have more options here. Of course, we can switch tomorrow, change the calendar date, change the time, switch it to urgent here if we want, and then you'll see repeat. So we can repeat it whenever we want with a bunch of different options. And then we have the list that we want it to be incorporated into, and then of course details. We have additional options such as tags, flag, priority, location, and when messaging. You can even add an image, and then of course we have early reminder. So Apple has added a bunch of new fields to help us get more granularity when creating a new note. So if you want to tag it as something such as YouTube or iOS 15 that we have there, you can do that. Again, you could flag it just so it makes it a little bit more apparent that you need to pay more attention to this. Now, just like within Notes, we can use natural language to create a list using Siri. So if you have access to the new Siri, let's give this a try. Create a new list within reminders for grocery items for tacos, such as taco shells, lettuce, tomato, chicken, and salsa. We'll give it a moment here, see what it creates.
I've created it.
And then we can go to Show All, and then go directly into that. You'll see Siri won't stop there, but if we go into our reminders, there should be a new list here called tacos with all the different ingredients that I just mentioned. Then if we press and hold into an open space, there's a new card interface with additional options, so we can add photos, we can again add tags, flag it, and more. So it's a new interface. Again, we could write with Siri and use this however we'd like. One other thing is if it auto sorts maybe a list that you have, it can now use additional languages. So you can use those together if you'd like to use that. Of course, there's some helpful things you can do with iOS 27 that you could also do with iOS 26, where if we go into settings, for example, go to the action button, and maybe this time we'll go over to controls. We'll choose a control, and then we'll search for reminders. You can also do this with notes, but again, new reminder. And now if we lock the display, maybe we're on the go and we want to create a reminder. We can't talk to Siri to do that. Press and hold, and then we can create a reminder even directly from the lock screen. Again, this works with notes as well, so you can create that reminder right here. But if we go back into our controls, again, go to notes, we can do the same thing. So if you want to make a quick note right here, again, from the lock screen, if that's something you use all the time, you can then create a note directly from the lock screen by holding the action button. So there's some really nice options there, makes it a little bit better. And of course, iOS 27 enhances notes and reminders. Another small change is the actual icons themselves. You'll see Reminders has been updated where it has a little bit different look to it. They've added more liquid glass throughout the OS, and you'll see the icons just have a little bit more depth to them with additional icons within the icon itself. And so that's everything in iOS 27 for notes and reminders. Not huge updates this time, but helpful things, especially Markdown if you use that a lot. And of course, additional features that just make it a little bit easier and more convenient to use. Let me know your favorite features so far of iOS 27 in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.